Michelle Graves, your host on The Power of Money, and I'm honored to have you as a part of my world in this coming segment. With The Power of Money, as you know, we are interested in three things. First, that you get the necessary education so that you and your family will have the information to do well in these difficult times. The second thing I'm interested in is for you to be empowered to prosper. I want only the best for you, but you can't get that if you don't have the education and then the drive to make it happen. And the final thing, and perhaps the most important thing, is that you be energized. Because life is more than a journey. Life is about living. And so I want you to learn these things and to be empowered and encouraged and energized. I'm Michelle Graves. Now here we go. And here we go. And thank you for being a part of my world for the next hour on The Power of Money with Michelle Graves. And as always, I'm honored and delighted and even privileged to have you all as a part of my viewing audience for so many, many years. Yes, we're living in amazing and incredible times, some good, some not so good, but my commitment remains unchanged, and that is to make sure that you, my viewers, wherever in the United States and in the world you're watching, that you are invited in to my world and to meet extraordinary people, to learn about money, to learn about finance, to learn all the things that are necessary for you and your family to not only survive, but also to thrive. And again, I can say this with no embarrassment. I've been in this industry, in the financial services side, for over 40 years. I've owned a mortgage bank early on, Camelot Mortgage. I've been involved in annuities, investments, real estate, insurance, everything. I'm not a young woman, but I have a fresh spirit, and I'm always interested in people that are just ahead of the game. And today is no exception. My guest today is Wanda Daniels, who was honored as a part of the African American Senior Veterans Day this past November. She was honored for her Lifetime Achievement Award from President Joseph R. Biden for her 4,000 hours, I should say, because she's not that old, but 4,000 hours of volunteerism, and for her bringing such hope and joy to so many veterans. And that moved me. So she's based in Georgia, and she is my guest for the next hour. We will be talking about volunteerism and the opportunities to really, really, really do something extraordinary for so many people that are out here today. Life is not about sitting in front of a TV, folks. Seniors, hear me. It's about getting out there and touch and feel and get involved with the population, the American people. So without further ado, I'm going to start this interview out and introduce you to Wanda, and we're going to begin the interview, if that's okay with all of you. Again, thank you so much for being a part of my world, and I thank you so much, and I cannot express my gratitude over the years that you have supported this show. Thank you, and let's get started with the interview. Good morning, Wanda.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you today?
I'm great. I can feel spring coming. I know it looks crazy, but I can feel spring coming, and that makes me happy. It also means I saw a robin yesterday, and anytime I see a robin, that's a sign that they're back and that spring is here. So I wanted to first thank you for being patient for us setting up and getting ready for this interview. And I am just very, very excited about talking to you about your life story, about your veterans involvement, and about your involvement in volunteerism, for which you were just honored by our president. What an incredible thing. Just simply incredible. So I support you. I think what you're doing is so remarkable. And let's begin by, if you don't mind, introduce yourself to our viewers and give us a little bit of background about who you are and what makes you so special.
Well, I spent 25 years in the Air Force as a medical laboratory technician. I spent those 25 years as a single parent. I raised two children, a son and a daughter, and it wasn't the easiest thing, but it was rewarding in the end. I started with disabled American veterans back in 2012. It was just something to do at first, but then I started to learn all about DAV and what they did and how they did it. And I just became vested in volunteering and helping veterans. And that is our motto, veterans helping veterans.
I think that's remarkable. So you spent 25 years in the Air Force and raised two children by yourself. That had
Yes.
to have been an awesome feat in and of itself. Because young
It
people,
was.
I am sure. Did you have to travel and be in different locations?
We didn't move very much. I was very fortunate to have been stationed at one place for a long time.
That is a
So
blessing.
my son got a chance to go to one school and finish high school in San Antonio. Then they moved me to Wichita Falls, Texas, and my daughter was just starting high school. She got a chance to graduate high school from Wichita Falls. So they didn't have an opportunity to travel a lot, but my daughter did get an opportunity to come to Turkey when I was stationed in Turkey. So she did have that opportunity, and she loved the fact that she got a chance to be in a culture other than in America.
Well, on the subject of Turkey, you do know that they are in the midst of major devastation right now.
Yes, I saw that. And I want you to know that I have experienced that earthquake in Turkey before.
Oh,
It
no.
was a 7 point something while we were there during my PCSing there in Turkey. I got a chance to experience an earthquake. It was the most frightening thing that I've ever experienced in my life.
I can only believe it. Were you close to the epicenter when you had that experience?
Yes, I literally saw the earth moving, the
You
ground.
saw the earth moving.
Yes, it was moving like water. It was, I've never been so afraid. I know that I didn't stay inside a building. Fortunately, when it happened, it was still daylight.
Oh,
Uh, I, I think this one hit and it was in the nighttime over there.
yes.
And that's fortunate, and I pray that they're just coming up with more deaths every minute. I was watching the news earlier. It's over 5,000 now.
Yes.
Thing is freezing up.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, earthquakes are, they're frightening. Let me tell you, they're frightening.
Well, when the earth moves up underneath you, it's not like the sky. I mean, where do you go? The earth is moving underneath you.
Exactly.
I was listening this morning coming up to the station. NPR was talking to seismic scientists, and they said that whole region is an epicenter for this type of activity. And they were not very optimistic about the future over there. So I didn't want to get off track, but when you brought up Turkey, I said, well, let me probe a little bit and find out whether or not this is something that you have experienced. And lo and behold, you have. So you came
Yeah.
through, you and were your children over there at that time?
No, no. My
Okay.
daughter was in college and she just came and spent the summer with me when I was in Turkey. And she had gone back to school by then.
Oh, bless God for that. That would have
Yeah.
been just horrible. I just think about that. And we've had two small earthquakes in the United States, just small,
Hmm.
while that was going on. And again, I just felt so sorrowful for the people over there and their children and the cold. And I know it gets cold over there. I know it does.
No, when the earthquake hit when I was there, it was summer.
Oh, good.
It was summer. And people were sleeping outside. They wouldn't go back into their homes. They were sleeping outside after the earthquake because there were so many aftershocks.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was just frightening.
I can
I was
only imagine.
I was glad to come home.
I know we say, what's that song? I'm glad to be an American.
Yes.
Yes. So, moving forward, you retired from the Air Force. Did you retire as a single woman or were you married?
No, I've been single the whole time. I retired in 2005 as a senior master sergeant,
Okay.
and yeah, it was that was a success to
Yes.
get that level as a female in the Air Force.
I thought it was for you to be a master sergeant and a female
Yeah,
is impressive.
yeah.
It is. Which would
Uh,
that's impressive. So go forward. So you retired, and after you retired, what happened?
I was living in Panama City, Florida at that time, and I started to work at my church.
Okay.
I was working in the church in the office for a while, and about 18 months, and my daughter lived in Georgia, and she did not like the fact that I was alone.
Ah,
So she kept
ah.
bothering me to move closer to her.
Okay.
I
Okay.
finally gave in and I did that. And that's how I ended up in Georgia. My home is Alabama.
What part of Alabama, may I ask?
Tuscaloosa,
I know where
University of
Tuscaloosa is.
Alabama, Roll Tide.
I understand. I know where Tuscaloosa is. My people are from Alabama as well, and they are Union Springs and Dothan
Mhm.
and Montgomery, Birmingham.
Yeah.
They are entrenched in Alabama, and it's hot down there. I can.
Yeah.
It
I,
is.
I went I went to college with girls from Dothan, Union Springs, all of those areas, Montgomery. I
Yes.
went to Alabama A&M University.
Oh yes, in Montgomery. Okay.
Yeah. No, Alabama A&M is in Huntsville,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of
Alabama State.
yes, I am. I'm thinking of
That's,
Alabama State.
that's our rivals.
That's interesting. I hope I didn't lose. Did I lose you? Are you there?
I don't know. Can you hear me? I hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, good. I can hear you. So you moved to Georgia. I'm going through that right now because for some reason our children don't think we're able to function without being in close proximity. And they might be right. They may be because seniors, as we grow older, we do experience um, loneliness. Being that single woman gets to be real tired, and the desire to be with family is important, particularly when the children have grandchildren. You want to see your grandchildren. Is that what you found?
Yes, it was fortunate for me that I did move to Georgia because I did get to time in my life where I had to have someone to look after me because I did find out in 2016 that I had a tumor in the head of my pancreas, and I had to have major surgery. So it was fortunate that I was in this area because I would have been in Florida by myself.
And
Whereas
right.
it happened to it.
So let me ask you, because I'm gonna want to ask, and I don't want you to take offense or think I'm going too far. Just tell me stop. I don't want to talk anymore. But you were diagnosed with cancer in 2016. Is that correct?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Now my question.
Okay.
Okay, you were diagnosed in 2016. You were in Georgia.
Yes,
You were not, were you volunteering at that time?
yes.
So when did you start volunteering?
I started volunteering in 2012.
So you were volunteering throughout this as well?
Yes, yes. I took a little break until I healed from my surgery, but then
Okay.
I went right back to doing my volunteer work. I'm what's called a certified service officer for DAV. And
Okay.
one of the things that I do is I assist veterans with preparing their paperwork to apply for their VA compensation.
Oh my goodness. For an area for the state of Georgia, what
It was, well, I was working in the Athens area, which is not that far from where I live.
okay.
So I go to the office up in Athens and help with helping veterans with their claims. But I took a break between my surgery and getting better before the doctors released me. But I
Okay.
went right back to doing my service work and working with my chapter, fundraising, doing whatever needed to be done for veterans.
That is amazing. And let me tell you why, Wanda. If we can go back to the double screen shot, gentlemen, production. For a person to be involved with disabled veterans is remarkable, number one, because they need so much help. And their families, most of them were injured. All kinds of things happen as a result of war, and they need help. And my question is that, is this what pushed you into working with DAV? Was this something you had looked at and carefully considered before making that move? Tell me more.
No, I was home every day and nothing much to do. And then I was introduced to DAV. So I said, okay, let me try this. I didn't really do any research or any, introspective thinking about it. I just jumped out there and started doing it.
Huh.
And it just turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me.
In what way?
Well, it got me out of myself. I
Hmm.
have, with having had something that was catastrophic to me in my life, you could just sit around and just mope and mope and mope over it. But instead, DAV got me up and doing stuff and taking care of other people helps you.
I think you're right.
It helps you. You think you're helping someone else when actually you're helping yourself. because you're no longer stuck in your own head and mulling things over and feeling sorry for yourself.
I
It
totally
gets you
agree.
out of the house. It keeps you moving. And all those things I think are really important towards healing, even though 5 years later I have the same cancer.
However, Wanda,
However,
you're still here.
yeah, I'm still here, and every day that I wake up, I say, okay, Lord, you have something else you want me to do.
Yes. If I
Yes.
could just get our senior population, if I could just get them to look at the real life opportunities to help volunteer, um, that presents itself once you are no longer in the workplace. A whole
Mm-hmm.
world opens up for you to help other people.
Yes.
And rather than sitting on the phone or in front of television watching the game shows or just languishing like life is over, is it fair to say that you find as a person, as a giver, you'd have to be a giver? Do you find that this has kept you focused on others and rather than yourself?
It does. It helps me all the time. Uh, my dining room table is my office. I'm always on the phone. I have, in my position in the state of Georgia now, before it was just in a chapter. Now I have a position that I oversee 26 chapters in the state of Georgia. So my phone rings constantly, whether it be a chapter asking how can they get some help for a veteran, or a veteran calling saying that they need some assistance. And what I do, if it's someone that I can't help that's local, I direct them to wherever they can find some assistance. Sometimes it's a chapter in the area. Sometimes it's to the social workers at the VA medical centers. I'm just here to be like a conduit to get things out so that they know where they can get help, even if I can't do anything through the department to help them.
That is outstanding. And you started off, did you just go into an office and say, I want to volunteer? Or did you have someone uh, initiate you into the process? How did you get involved? How did you make that step?
Someone introduced me
Okay,
to a member of a chapter,
okay.
and I they invited me to a meeting, and I went to the meeting, and I never stopped going.
The rest is
I've
history.
been doing this since 2012, and it's still the best thing that's happened to me since I retired.
I have to believe that your willingness to serve and to serve without compensation, is that fair?
That is true, no compensation, even though I drive 200 miles round trip when I go to the office once a week. I drive 100 miles to Macon, Georgia, and then 100 miles back to where I live in Wanda, Georgia.
My
And
goodness.
I could get 50 cents per mile, but I never file a voucher for my time, my mileage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 200 miles a week you drive to be able
Yes,
to help veterans.
yes.
I'm telling you, that is remarkable because so many people today complain incessantly about anything that they're not getting paid for. And you're doing this because you have a passion to help veterans. I have to believe that because nobody does that, Wanda.
I do. I can't explain it. I just love it.
I believe you.
I can't explain it. It is just like my daughter says that God gave me a gift and this is my gift.
And it is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. So now if we can motivate all these other people sitting on your rear ends, doing nothing, and then saying, well, they're not paying me. Well, you know what? You're getting paid. You're getting paid in awesome ways.
Yes.
Awesome ways. I think it's fair to say that you have enriched the lives of many of these veterans and their families. What do you normally do? Because we're just civilians. And you know, I don't know, my daughter was in the Air Force and she is no longer, yes, she did her time and she's on to other things many years ago. But I do know that that military requires a level of discipline and commitment that is not common in civilian life. Is that a fair statement?
That is.
I know it is. We make our money and we go home and do whatever. But I know that when you're in the military, that you belong to the country.
You do.
You sign an oath. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
We take an oath. And your we call it a go bag. Your go bag is packed at all times because you never know when you're going to be called to take that plane to go to a foreign land, and you always prepared to go. We had to have a family plan in place. Me being a single parent, I had to make sure that there was a plan in place that if I did get called, somebody could take my kids and take care of them.
My words. My words.
Until I got back.
Till you got back. That is that we as American citizens, we are eternally indebted to what you all commit when you go into the military. We're eternally indebted because that discipline is not available outside of the military. I don't have a go bag. I'm not going anywhere, Wanda. I pray for you. As I told my daughter, I pray for you.
It was a wonderful experience. I didn't go into the military with the intention of retiring. But after the first 4 years in, I started to see that it made sense, what I was doing. It made sense. It agreed with my moral fiber.
Okay.
It agreed with it. So I signed up. Every time it was time to sign up, I would just sign up again. And the next thing I knew, it was 25 years.
25 years.
Sometimes I can't even believe I did it.
Wanda, that's when I look at all of these men and women who have been in the military for all of those years, and there's something different about you guys. It just is, in how you look at the world and how you look at people and how you make decisions. And I must say that my involvement with veterans over the years, because my entire family are veterans, are in active service. They're there. I'm not. As my father said, do not let that girl go into the military because she's going to go to Leavenworth. She is definitely a candidate for Leavenworth because you have to obey. And Michelle was like, but what about my opinion? Nobody cares about your opinion. You're a master sergeant. You know what that means. You had to break a lot of people.
Well, you know what? I had a different way of dealing with my troops as I got up in rank. I had a different way of dealing with them. I I have to just say that I encouraged them a lot.
To do, okay, all right,
Yes, I encouraged them a lot, so I didn't have to be a hammer.
okay.
Yes,
Maybe that's the feminine
I
side.
maybe, but
I'm serious.
I didn't have to bring down the hammer. I did when I had to, but I tried to encourage them more to know that, you know, this is, let's just get this done. Let's just get it done. To the
Okay.
point that I had troops that would do things for me. They would take on my projects and do them for me.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
that's
I sure
amazing.
did.
That is absolutely amazing. Well, you do know that my first cousin Robin is a retired colonel, and
I love
you know,
it.
a kindest person in the world. However, if you don't want to play team, I'm sure she would just be not so pleasant.
Yes.
You're going to do what you're told to do, and that's how you have winners. That's what you bring to the table. You create giants and winners, men and women that are focused and understand. So you got into volunteerism by introduction into DAV,
Yes.
and you found yourself getting involved with families as well as men and women who had served in military. Is that how that worked?
Well, okay, DAV, we only have veterans, their families, their adopted children. Their, those are the only ones we can assist, is the veterans and their families.
Now,
And
are you all a part of the VA?
no, we're not a part of the VA. We're nonprofit,
Okay,
uh, nonpartisan, and we work from donations and fundraising.
okay,
And
because
what we do is that if there's a veteran that calls, matter of fact, right now I'm working to assist a veteran who got burned out just this week.
what do you mean?
And we are now trying to gather monies together to get to her to assist her until she can do better.
So,
we it takes a while because we're also geographically separated.
okay,
But we're going to get her some clothes. We're going to get her money, and she's going to be taken care of as best as we can do with the monies that we have.
I understand. Now, when you say burned out, was her house, she had a
Her
fire?
apartment was burned, yes, in the
Okay,
fire. Her
okay,
apartment was burned up in the fire.
okay, okay. And she was technically homeless?
Yes,
Okay.
technically she's homeless. They say she lost everything, the
Oh,
report that I have. But tomorrow is my day to drive my 100 miles. I'll go
goodness
down to the
gracious.
office and make sure some checks are going to be cut and get them to her as soon as we can.
So let me ask you this question, because this is very important to me. Um, is it for those of us who are civilians, but like what you all are doing and what you're doing, is it better to provide support for what you're doing by writing a check or by getting involved with some of these TV advertisements. You all are on television pretty heavily, at least in my market. You are on heavily with veterans and talking about what you all bring to the table. So, and I've been hesitant because I don't want any money that I write dispensed with a portion of it having to offset marketing. So, is it a better situation for those of us who are watching to send the money direct?
Yeah, we don't use any monies for marketing. We, whatever monies we have, we use for operations, but veterans services is what we focus on.
Okay.
Trying to help with with their groceries, utilities, mortgage, rent. That's what we do. And
Okay.
if you wanted to donate, yes, you're in your area.
Yes.
I can't, I can't tell you not to donate to Georgia, but I would encourage you to donate to your chapters there you're in Ohio or
Yes, I'm
Kentucky?
right. I'm right across the bridge from Kentucky where their corporate
Okay,
offices are.
right.
But Ohio
I
is where I'm
would
based.
I would suggest one of the chapters within your state.
Okay. Okay, that you can,
Yes,
because
yes.
I was confused, to be honest with you, because like I said, that organization, and they're not the only one that uses television as a marketing venue to raise money. But my concern about television, for whatever venue, is that there are expenses associated with advertising or fundraising through that venue. And I don't know whether or not that goes down to the different chapters or if that's a money that's raised at the top tier to assist them. And I just needed to get that clarity. I appreciate you sharing that with me.
I would suggest doing within your state.
Okay, I can do that. So you get boots on the ground with these people, including helping them to file their claims, and which is a major, major piece, by the way.
It
Wanda,
is.
oh my gosh, they're widows. Do you deal with their widows and trying to get
Yes,
help for their
yes, I
widows?
do.
Oh
I
my,
help I help the widows fill out paperwork
right,
or
right,
uh, to try to get them their compensations once their spouses are passed on.
right.
I and it doesn't matter where they are. I have driven to different places in the state because some people just ask for me to come and do their claim.
Okay, well, they
And
want it done
yeah,
right.
and I'll drive to wherever they are, but I always take my friend with me,
Yes.
and we go, and I get the claims done, and because it's an addition to their livelihood.
Well, the
Get that
money,
paperwork in there and get it through the
yes,
VA system,
yes,
and we get trained every year
on that
on
process.
how to do the paperwork correctly.
That
We
is
go
everything.
to school every year to learn to make sure we're doing it correctly.
I am glad to hear you say that. I got involved at one point in my career in helping widows, maybe 10 years ago, and it is a tedious process. And you can't charge them. I'm sure you know that you do it as a
Don't
guest.
charge for anything that we do. We
Yeah,
don't charge for anything that we
right.
do.
And I'm saying to my viewers, particularly you widows and widowers whose spouses have been in the military system, there is help. There is help. But you can't do this on your own. The system is the system. And I would encourage you to get a trained professional. And I think now they only deal with veterans. They don't train people who are not in the system on how that works. But there is help available. You can get help, okay? But your spouse has to have been in the military. There's funding, viewers, for this. But if you don't fill the paperwork out correctly, if you don't have an advocate like Wanda, you can just tie yourself up into something unimaginable. But I am honored to know that you do that because, Wanda, that is some work.
Yeah, and you know, I've helped some spouses where you may have to go back and forth and back and
Yes,
forth. But
yes.
that one thing that we stress now is that veterans tell their spouses, whether it's your husband or your wife, however it goes, because you know we got women veterans and men veterans.
Yes, we do.
But tell people where the paperwork is. Tell them what bills you're paying, because we run into that.
Huh.
We run into widows or widowers don't know anything. They don't know where any paperwork is. They don't know where the DD 214, which
Right.
is a major piece of paper.
That's everything.
You know, we advise veterans to register your DD 214 at the courthouse so that it's on file.
Okay.
At least the spouse can go to the courthouse and get a copy of that.
Yes.
Because if you have that, you can get a flag, you can get the burial space, you can get a marker, you can get the honors from the honor guard when you have that piece of paper. It's just important to tell people where things are.
And that they need to keep them. I mean, if your spouse is not dead, the DD 214 is like a dog tag. Yeah, DD 214. It's like a dog tag. That's something that should never, ever, ever be misplaced. And I did not know.
I have one wallet.
Okay. It's important, listeners and viewers, to make sure you have things in an orderly way. Your DD 214, because if you misplace it or lost it, you're getting ready to go into another rabbit hole. Am I right, Wanda?
Yeah, it could take you 6 months to get another copy.
I'm just saying, it is not, it's not pretty. These are millions of people from all world wars and civilian active, and you can't find your DD 214. Not good. Okay? So for those of you that have them, I would have to concur with Miss Daniels. Go on and get them recorded at the courthouse so that if you do misplace your original, at least it's a copy is at the courthouse. That's excellent advice, Miss Daniels. That's excellent advice for them. So, but they can get help, isn't that once they have those things in place?
Yes, every state, including the territories, has a DAV.
Jeez.
Every state in the union, including the territories, has a DAV. And they have service officers that can assist any veteran that needs help.
That's another resource that I don't think people knew. I think people think that the Veterans Administration is your point person or point contact. And I would have to say in some situations, yes. And in many situations, no. It's about knowing where to go to get the help that you need. And I'll be the first to say, don't call Michelle. This is military, and you need to work with military trained personnel like the DAV to get things done for you and on your family's behalf. So let's go back to this award that you got from President Joseph Biden for 4,000 hours of volunteerism, the Lifetime Achievement Award. Were you surprised about that?
I was so surprised. I cried.
Oh,
I couldn't believe it when my friend, who is my assistant adjutant, started to read. I was like, what? I couldn't
that,
believe it, and it was very, very moving, and I was so appreciative. I was touched. I was touched, very touched.
4,000 hours of volunteer work is a lot of work, Wanda.
Yeah.
And for it to come to the attention of the President of the United States of America, that says a lot. That's monumental. That says a lot. And so when we look at just what you've done and how you've assisted, did you talk to him, or did you talk to one of his people? How did you, I know you got this award. Was it sent to you by mail? How did you receive the paperwork?
It was presented to me at one of our conventions, DAV conventions,
And you did
last
not
June.
know. And you did not know.
No, no,
Ah,
I planned the whole convention, and they just told me they needed some time, and I just said, okay, it's family stuff as far
okay.
as I'm concerned. We all get together once a year and we do some training and everything, but they said we need some time. Okay, you got some time. And then when I was getting ready to sit down, and they said, no, you need to stand back up. And when they did it, I was so touched and moved. No, I've not spoken with the president nor any of his people. This was for this. I was nominated for this through another DAV member
Okay.
that is she is in charge of organization that recognizes volunteerism in the
Okay.
community, and that's how I received it.
A Lifetime Achievement Award, Wanda,
Yeah,
is impressive. And
I'm.
it caught my attention immediately because I'm going to read, let me see if I can find it, because it's what he said that meant so much. It says, we are living in a moment that calls for hope and light and love. The president letter read, hope for our future, light to see our way forward, and love for one another. Through your service, you are providing all three. And that was such a beautiful, beautiful acknowledgement of what you do and your success in doing it so very, very well. And I just have to say that we were honored to acknowledge you at the event here in Cincinnati that I chaired, and for African American senior veterans. It's a packed house. They got to hear you, to see you via technology today. and I'm honored to have you on my show. So in the remaining time, and time is wrapping up quickly, what do you want to do in 2023?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I want to continue my volunteer work. I'm working on trying to get more veterans involved into DAV. We really want to bring in our younger veterans,
Oh, that would be great.
which is difficult because they have a different mindset.
And they need money, Wanda.
Right.
They got
And
families, you know.
right. And we're trying to come up with ideas to help with that so that they will be more interested in helping and joining and becoming a member of DAV. Because one of the big things is the more people, veterans we have in DAV, the bigger our voice is with Congress.
Yes.
Because lobby Congress, I'll be going up to the White House on the 25th of this month. We will be up there on Capitol Hill lobbying for veterans benefits, the ones that we already have, trying to bring in new benefits. So we're going to be up there trying to do what we can to help veterans, even our young ones that are coming out. You know, they're coming out to this world.
Yes, they
And
are.
they're going to need these benefits
They
because they've
are.
been exposed to burn pits and
Oh,
all
gosh.
kinds of chemicals and stuff while
Yes.
they've been over in the desert. And we want to make sure they're getting medical care they need. We want to make sure that they're getting the benefits if they do get some illnesses that come from their exposures to these things. So I want to see more young people come in because I'm getting older. I am a senior.
I, I,
This
I
year,
got,
my 70th year
I
on the
know,
face of the earth,
I
if
know.
I'm so blessed to see October. You know, I'm a senior and I'd love to see more young people come in. And we're trying to come up with ways to get them more involved in DAV so that our voice is big, that our voice is heard on Capitol Hill. We want to continue that work for sure.
Well, Wanda Daniels, our time has wrapped up. We are just amazed at what you've done and who you are. And I want to thank you from the depths of my heart for your willingness to go on air to talk about who you are, what you do, and where you are going. I wish you great success on Capitol Hill. The burn pit situation is abhorrent. I was a part of a group that met with the State Senator Sherrod Brown, who's taking leadership on legislation about those burn pits overseas. And I'm honored to be a part of that. But I'm just saying to you, I thank you for being who you are, and I so appreciate you. And we will certainly get to the finish line on this one. We certainly will. Thank you so much, Wanda.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me.
A
I
bless,
appreciate it so
a,
much.
and I appreciate you. You take care. For those
You
of
too.
you that are tuning in, Wanda Daniels, a 25-year Master Sergeant veteran from the Air Force who is now full-fledged volunteer with DAV and just received President Joseph Biden's Lifetime Achievement Award for her volunteerism and for the things that she has brought to the table. Amazing and astounding. Thank all of you for being a part of my world and meeting this amazing, amazing woman. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.